Comic 194. Sorry, my throat is a little juicy. I'm feeling much better, aside from the juicy throat. Juicy throat syndrome, JTS. I don't know what I'm talking about. So we're back to the douchebags again. I think this is hopefully the last one. Honestly, I think it's funny because the reminiscing about this entire thing has made me sparked up kind of the old annoyances. But now I'm annoyed with my inability to let this go. I think it was just because I was trying to make a story out of it and keep going from there. So I'll talk about some different stuff instead. That guy wants us quiet. Okay, we'll give them quiet. I like marshmallows. If we get really quiet, then I'll have nothing to complain about. That'll show him. So being quiet is good because that's what he wants. Exactly. Damn, we're clever. So being quiet is good because... What? I think I've confused even myself. And I think I like marshmallows is something amongst my group of friends where whenever someone accuses us of being stupid, we always just say, I like marshmallows. We just enjoyed things like that. Now, one of the one thing I want to mention, I think I mentioned this really quickly yesterday or the previous comic. Douchebag number 2, the tall guy. Me, we'll call him because his name, his t-shirt's labeled so that he doesn't forget. His haircut is very kind of shaggy from Scooby-Doo, but at the same time it also has that little fork. I'll call it the earwig pincer, which seems to change direction, and maybe it's like Asterix's feathers on his hat, which change based on his sort of facial expression and emotion. Always one of my favorite parts of that comic. Yay! Is the little twin prong thing, and that's very Fred Flintstone. Now, normally it's sort of at the back where your crown, where your crown is, because that's usually where you have little bits that stick up because they're not part of any sort of direction of hair. It was always prominent in Fred Flintstone. Fred Flintstone and Barney, I think, both had that towards the back, towards their crown. So I just drew it on him because I always enjoyed that part. That was always my thing. Whenever I draw a person with kind of tufty hair, I would always include that bit. I don't know why, I just always liked it. It just seemed realistic and cool to me. And then, as you can see, it slowly creeps up and gains sentience. So perhaps there is an earwig in his hair, or his hair is actually an earwig. That would have been a very interesting plot twist. Don't worry, it gets much more sci-fi later. But for now, I stray away from those kind of flights of fancy. Beardo Ballcap is just sort of deciding that, yes, we're very clever. Because I wish they were this clever, that they came up with stupid things like this. But no, this wasn't the case. They actually, in reality, I think once we got past the complaining stage, they just went back to doing what they did. And they're like, oh, well, we're just going to be loud because, I don't know. That's just all they knew. It's just to get rid of... I think getting out of one mindset was probably very difficult for them. So, hopefully we're done dragging their useless name through the mud. Reminds me of the Chaucer line from Knight's Tale, which isn't actually Chaucer, but it was, no, I will eviscerate you in fiction, every imperfection. I was naked for a day. You will be naked for an eternity. So there we are. They are remembered for an eternity, or as long as this video stays on YouTube. There they are, the douchebags. So, moving on to Comic 195 tomorrow, unless I see any grammatical mistakes. Yep, I see one. Capital W after the OK in the first panel. Unnecessary capital, that should be lowercase. That'll show him he'll have nothing to complain about. Being quiet is good because that's what he... And the emphasis on the damn. Damn, we're clever. Because I didn't want to bold, so uppercase is the only way to go. Darn you, caps lock. Am I the only person who, whenever they have to type anything in uppercase, they don't hit caps lock? I just hold down shift and type. My pinky isn't really doing much anyway. I don't have to type many things in A or Z. Yeah, left shift. TMI. Comic 195 tomorrow.